AskReddit by Fathaster 1. If Mythbusters threw out all ethics or morals, what myths would they try to bust? That when pumped full of adrenaline a mother has the strength to lift a car to save her child's life. The other comments are general unethical illegal experiments. This one is actually the type of wives' tale that's on brand for Mythbusters to do on the show. I mean, they tested the water drop torture. Didn't Kari get so traumatized by it she needed to leave the set for a few days? If you take like 100 babies and you let them grow up together with enough food, water resources but no language exposure, will they invent a new language to communicate with one another? And will it have grammar that has anything in common with existing languages? This is a test for universal grammar hypothesis. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/universal_grammar. There are some not really experiments but kinda horrible situations that can help us illuminate this hypothesis. There was a deaf community somewhere in Latin America, Google tells me it was Nicaragua, that created a wholly new sign language without the input of other existing sign languages. And X200B. Uruguayan Sign Language. Making an explosive device using household items. They actually did this one and Adam Savage said it works so well that they couldn't in good conscience air it. No, he didn't say what the items were. Household bleach. Jolly Roger's cookbook had all sorts of stuff made from household ingredients. Black powder is also fairly easy to make. Same experiments, but instead of Buster the crash test dummy, Adam just does the tests himself. Just imagine after being blown up. Alright Adam, let's get your legs put back and try it again. How much can a gorilla actually bench press? Gorillas on steroids. Let's go fully unethical here. Redo the Stanford prison experiment to see if they get the same results. I think the problem is that everyone knows about the Stanford prison experiment now, so you'd never get accurate results. Pineapple juice. Deleted. There were a lot. They specifically didn't bust dowsing for water or similar because they didn't want to bring somebody on the show just to humiliate them. Similarly for faith healers, acupuncture, homeopathic medicine and the like. Adam did a great job on his channel explaining that. I thought it was pretty respectable to ignore those type of myths due to it being just to be mean-spirited. Do humans taste like chicken or pork? Truth story. Cannibals in Cape York and the TS Islands preferred to capture and eat the Chinese instead of Europeans. The reason? Europeans ate a lot of salted meat and apparently it comes out in the taste of their meat. They captured Chinese people, broke their legs and used their long hair, ponytails, to tie them to a low tree or bush. I guess with no refrigeration that made them fresh meat. When I was a student teacher, Adam and Jamie were guest speakers at a science teacher conference I attended. They told a story of myth that never aired, because it turned out to be less ethical than they originally predicted. They wanted to test the myth that sugary kids cereals were so unhealthy that the box it comes in has more nutritional value. So, they made the cereal boxes into pulp and formed them into pellets to feed to mice. Another group of mice got cereal to eat. The mice that were only given box pellets ended up eating each other. Yes. I heard that same story live, as well. Next on MB, can a group of pigs eat a 230-pound man and leaves no trace? Farmer here, can confirm. What actually happens to a human body in a vacuum? They did the one about the diver's whole body getting sucked into the helmet. Not a real person but close enough. Let's see if this chemical compound has an effect on the human fetus. The Japanese during WW2. Raise a child from the moment of birth, alone, inside a room completely covered in computer screens. Robotic arms would cater to the child's needs. Then, a completely made up reality, scientific laws, human relationships, and imaginary beings can be shown and interesting psychological tests conducted, a bit like Truman Show. Parts of this have been done before, on monkeys. If you really wanna get sad, you could Google "why mother." They could do a series testing the truth of racial stereotypes. That would actually be fascinating. Along with possible reasons why they exist. More cushion, more pushing. Mythbusters. First that comes to mind is the dog and microwave myth that they ultimately decided not to go through with. What's the myth exactly? Adam pointed out in one of his recent videos how they never tested what is the best silencer, and now I am curious on those, both manufactured and makeshift. Clearly the ones used in the train station in John Wick 2. A person can go without water for. Didn't the Nazis figure that out? How many 5-year-olds could you kill with a bat before dying if they came at you in waves? They tested different foam weapons vs a zombie horde. Link, https://yahoo.be/QQDWRQ285IM?mark SITXJ7BS4F40Y8XE_B close Can you really fit 2 raccoons up a single butt? I mean, why stop at 2? Let's see how many fit up there. Is speaking a language important for brain development and advancing growth? The answer is yes, because you have the case of Jeannie, a kid in a locked room severely isolated from external stimuli. She's still alive and watched from the medical community. Currently, the best example of delayed speech learning leads to delay in many aspects of a functioning adult. HD%20 room. Jeannie was an interesting case because not only was she raised without language, she was also horrifically abused. Fun fact, The Jungle Book was inspired by a feral boy named Dina Sanicher. He was found at the age of 6 in a wolf's den. He was never able to learn a human language and had to be taught how to act like a human. Russian sleep experiment. Might be the last myth they attempt. Is a creepypasta a myth? Deleted. The present data based on ultrasonographic bladder monitoring and biochemical analyses indicate that squirting is essentially the involuntary emission of urine during sexual activity, although a marginal contribution of prostatic secretions to the emitted fluid often 20% 20 often %20 exists.